You seem to be glowing like you're going to have a baby or something. Really? Yes, you look great. I am going to have a child, you're having a boy. Yes, he'll be back tomorrow. I'm sure he is. I'm basically putting him down to tell him, in a few years, you should be able to do what daddy does. Simon Cowell is one of the most famous people in the entertainment business, and his personal life has been covered by the media for a long time, taking into account his age and his choice to stay single. Not even a child with a baby mama. He used to be thought of as the perfect bachelor. Simon's most important event, though, was the birth of his son. After all these years, Simon is still moved to tears after seeing how drastically his son Eric has changed. People know Simon Cowell as the famous host of the show The Voice because of how he acts and talks on it. His life has been in the public eye since he was born, even when he was a shy and quiet kid. Now, this natural force has been nothing short of amazing. But right now, the sweet little boy has grown and changed into something shocking, which has made his tough dad cry. After hearing about Eric Cowell's amazing change, his family, friends, fans, and especially his father, Simon Cowell, have a lot of questions. Today, we'll talk about what happened that led to this amazing change. We'll also think about whether the change is for the better or whether there is a darker side to it. Perhaps most interestingly, we'll talk about how this change has affected Cowell's typically calm personality. We need to learn more about Eric Cowell's birth and early life in order to fully understand what happened in this shocking event that made Simon Cowell cry. The day Eric Cowell was born, right after the birth of Eric Cowell, Simon Cowell's famous child star. A lot of people have been following his story from the time he was born until now, from fans to other names in the entertainment business to people all over the world who watch. As the only child of a Hollywood star, Eric Cowell has always amazed people with how good he looks and how well he gets along with his dad. Eric has turned into a very different person in just 10 years. Not only has he changed a lot about himself, but he has also changed the Cowell family, especially Simon's life. Simon Cowell once said that he never planned to have a child, and that he never thought he was good enough to be a dad. So when Eric Cowell was born, it came as a surprise to Simon. He made it clear that he didn't want to go through with it because he wasn't ready to give up his life and job goals to become a father. In the entertainment business, Simon Cowell was known as a classic bachelor. He was more than 50 years old and didn't have any kids, not even from a baby mama. A lot of people were shocked when they found out that Lauren Silverman was expecting his child. Some people were shocked because Lauren Silverman was still married to her ex-husband at the time. Others were shocked when they heard the news of the pregnancy because they knew Simon strongly opposed being in a committed relationship or becoming a father. They didn't think that Simon Cowell, who was one of the most confirmed bachelors in Hollywood, would finally have a child or even start a family. Not only was Simon shocked by the news, but he also never thought he would become a dad. When the news came, he was already 54 years old. After a while, he got really excited about it and chose to welcome the new person into the world. Without a question, Eric Cowell's birth was nothing less than amazing. Simon had to leave his home, which was far away, on the day Eric was born so that he could be there to see his son's first moments on Earth. Check out Eric's story from when he was a baby to now, when he is a beautiful 10 years old. A brief history of Eric Cowell since his birth in February 2014. Eric has been in the news a lot, and this has helped bring a lot of attention to his family. He comes from a family that loved being in the spotlight, so it goes without saying that his arrival will be greatly praised by everyone, not just his family. Eric's family taught him early on about the love and support of family. They also worked hard to keep him grounded so that he could balance the attention of the public with private times. Simple family trips and games were some of these times. They were beautiful memories that Eric loved very much, even when he was a baby. He lived in a world as a child that was full of music, laughter, and a lot of imagination. His attitude grew stronger with each month as he moved into early childhood. His dad described him as becoming more interested in the world around him on more than one occasion. The little boy was lucky to be pushed to use his imagination. His parents saw this in him from a young age and also saw that he was becoming more interested in things, so they signed him up for a lot of different things, from music lessons to art classes. Not long after that, the child was able to put all of his attention on one thing, and he was often seen playing the drums. Eric, the famous singer Simon Cowell's son, recently said that he was trying out for his dad's show, Britain's Got Talent. Simon says that he also said that he is teaching the boy how to follow in his path. One time this was really clear, Simon wrote on Twitter that his friends and fans of Britain's Got Talent should meet the new judges, along with a picture of his son sitting in the judge's chair. Besides that, he said that at first he was really afraid that his son would hate his job when he gets to be this age. Now it's the other way around. It turned out that Eric loves his job in the end, which makes him so happy. The boy has clearly shown how much he loves his dad's job by following him to several events where he judges. They have become very close friends because of this. When asked to pick between his mom and dad while on a scary island, Eric said he wanted to push the scary buzzer all day long, so that was his choice, talking about the nature of his dad's job. Simon has said that Eric is a great judge, and that most of the time, when he has to choose between contestants or other options, he makes the right choice. If you ask a lot of people to guess, they'd say that a child like Eric, whose father is famous and has a lot of money, should obviously get his father's money. This is not the case for the Cowell family, though. Especially since their smoke is so strong. During an interview, Simon was asked if he would give all of his money to his son Eric. He said that his main goal is for Eric to learn how important it is to work hard, be dedicated, be resilient, and be humble. He went on to say that he wasn't going to spoil him or make him rely on the money in his family. Instead, he is going to help him become an independent, successful adult. He also made it clear that he wasn't going to give his son any of his property. He might instead decide to give it all away to charities or anyone else he wants in order to teach his son how to treat money well. When Simon said this, some people thought it was too extreme, while others praised Simon's way of teaching his kid to be responsible. From birth on, this is where the story gets interesting. Eric has a certain aura around him, which can be seen in his father, who said that seeing his brand new son was one of the most emotional times of his life because it reminded him of Simon's late father. That's why Simon chose to name his son after his dad. Let us quickly look at how Simon gets along with his parents, Simon Cowell and his mom and dad. Eric Siegel is Simon Cowell's dad. He had a heart attack and died in 1999. Simon was seriously shocked when his father died, and he didn't fully heal from the loss until 2014 when he was given the role of a dad, which made him remember the great times he had with his dad. Simon has admitted that his dad was complicated and had a big impact on his path to becoming a boss in the music business. Without a question, he had a big effect on Simon's early interest in show business. Simon said he had always admired how hard his dad worked and how much he loved music. He has often thanked him for giving him drive and showing him how important it is to be strong to face challenges. Something that has helped him stay relevant over the years, even in an area with a lot of competition. Years after his father died, Simon was able to think back on the wonderful relationship he had with him. He feels both thankful and sorry for ending their relationship. He knows that even though they had arguments, the lessons he learned from his father were priceless. When they were together, Simon wished he could at least tell him about all of his successes, which would show how their relationship had changed his life and work. In his writing, Simon talked about how his father was an amazing person who taught him how to live a purpose-driven life and had a huge impact on his life. Also, he stressed that even though his dad worked long hours, he was still able to build a relationship of love and friendship with him. Like any other person, Simon wants to have the same kind of relationship and environment with his son Eric, if not even better. On the other hand, Simon lost his mother Julie not long after Eric was born. The death of his mother had a big effect on his life and work, and Simon was greatly affected by this terrible loss. His mother was more like a compass in his life. It was too much for him to handle the terrible loss. He turned to being alone and being very depressed because of this, but he had no idea how he was going to get out of it. Simon said that he was going downhill at the time and was very, very sad. He chose to forget about the rest of the world and focus on something else in order to get away from all the bad things going on around him at the time. Soon after, he turned into a workaholic who worked all day and all night. At that point, he thought this was the best thing he could do for himself. His work routine meant that he worked all night, slept from 7 to 8 in the morning, and then got up at 2 in the afternoon. He talked about how he felt at that time and said that he loved it because it helped him numb his feelings so that he could focus on work more and think about his parents less. It's too bad for Simon that this slowly turned into an addiction over time, making it impossible for him to find any happiness or joy. He also said that he wasn't enjoying his job very much at the time, and that he was thinking about becoming something else, possibly a vampire. This was said in a funny way, as if he didn't care if that was going to be his fate at that point. At that point, nothing else mattered because he was just existing and had no reason to live. His life changed a lot when his son was born. Simon has mostly laughed at himself for not knowing what to do as a first-time dad. She didn't know what to expect. Besides that, he said that having Eric in his life has also helped him get back in touch with life. For him, this means that his son gave him a sense of purpose and connection that he had lost a long time ago and had no reason to live again. Thankfully, this won't have as much of an effect on Simon's life as other things Eric will do. Let us look what Eric Cowell did to help his dad change. Luckily, in an interview with the Diary of a CEO, Simon was happy to say that his amazing son Eric helped him get better. He went on to say that seeing him grow was amazing because it made him feel alive again. Besides that, he went on to talk about his early years. Simon couldn't help but notice how Eric's purity and happiness were a big source of comfort for him, especially during those formative years when they had daily patterns like bath time, bedtime, story time, and fun playtime. All of these things gave Simon nice breaks and things to do. Eric's happiness and love for him, no matter what, helped Simon remember to always enjoy life and his family. Even though his father was still sad, being around Eric helped ease his pain. He often talked about how Eric encouraged him to live in the moment and find joy instead. He had to do some easy things with his son Eric because of this. They did other things outside and played music together. So Simon was able to find happiness again. This, along with a sense of purpose, pushed him to get help and start using better ways to deal with his problems. In this way, it shows that even though loss is a journey, family can help you get better and give you hope. Through the hard years, Eric was more than just a son to Simon. He became a source of strength for him, which made their bond stronger as father and son. In one case, it was during one of Simon's worst times. For him and most middle-aged people, smoking is a way of life and a strong habit. Naturally, Simon has always had a strong habit of smoking around the house. He got so used to it that he had to admit he smoked about 80 cigarettes a day. However, it was hard for him to smoke around the house again after Eric was born. As of that moment, there was a child in the house, so he couldn't smoke whenever he wanted. A lot of people would have thought Eric was hurting his dad on purpose. Since this didn't stop, Eric would follow his dad around the house, to work, and even to events, even when he learned to walk as a kid. Simon didn't have many chances to smoke after this point. Sunita, Eric's grandmother, called him the cigarette police during an interview, and she went on to talk about Simon's experiences with the. She said that the boy seems focused on helping his dad quit smoking to make sure of this. The boy goes everywhere with his dad and lets him smoke one puff when he has to. At this point, Simon had no choice but to accept that his decisions would have an effect on his child's health, growth, and happiness. Also, he said in another place that the thought of his son growing up without him scares him a lot. Simon also said that he is afraid of being a bad influence on Eric because his habits could change the child's view of life and even his morals. He chose to be healthy by cutting down on the number of cigarettes he smoked. By making this important choice, Simon has not only shown that he is committed to being a good parent, but it has also helped him teach his son more about the values he wants to have and make their relationship stronger. Eric is a good father, and his close watch over Simon's life is a steady reminder to him to put his health first. He will be able to have a big impact by setting a great example for his child to follow. Because of this, he will be creating a good space for their interaction. What the son did didn't end there. There was finally a wedding for Simon Cowell, who was known as the famous Bachelor. Many people think that Simon never thought about having a family before the birth of his son because he always said that whenever the subject came up, he was one of the most well-known single guys in the entertainment business because he wanted to stay single his whole life. He wasn't married or had a child by the time he was 54, not even one from a baby mama. The hard-to-catch man was finally caught by his son's mom, American socialite Lauren Silverman, after the birth of their only boy. During the time Lauren was pregnant with Eric, she was married to a real estate business owner. As soon as the news spread, Lauren had to officially split her business owner husband, and officially got together with Simon, but they weren't married yet. A few years after Eric was born, Simon finally made up his mind to ask her to marry him. The proposal took place on their 2021 Christmas trip to Barbados, which made the moment even more special. As soon as they said they were getting married, a lot of people thought their son Eric played a big role in making it possible, because the birth of Eric might not have caused them to get a divorce. Others thought that Eric's desire to have a full family like his friends and a normal child might have had something to do with his parents' decision to get married. Tony Cowell, Simon's brother, wrote a piece in a UK magazine not long after they got engaged saying that Eric had a huge effect on his life. He said this in an interview. He also said that the marriage was real. And there was no doubt that Eric's good impact had an effect on it. Without a question, Eric's presence has made a huge difference in his life, and he finally seems happy and content. It has been a big change and an important influence in Simon's life since having the child. He used to be a strict bachelor. Eric Cowell has also been able to change his father from a strong-rooted worker into someone who is now very focused on family life and happiness. Because of this, he was able to put his relationship with his son first. Simon once made the big choice to move from London to a safer area because family and his son's safety were very important to him. This was right after a terrible event that happened in 2015 and caused a break. This incident showed how much Simon cared about making sure his son and his whole family lived in a safe place. So, he picked a place that was less busy and where they could feel safe while he worked. There's no question that Simon's life at the countryside house had changed a lot right after the move. Now that he's moved, he can focus more on fitness and health. The move has also brought him closer to Eric, as they are often seen doing fun things outside together, like walks, playing soccer, and swimming, and all of these things have not only made their relationship stronger, but they have also kept Simon busy the whole time. Since Eric and Simon have a strong bond, his fun attitude and high energy level have also kept Simon interested. Unfortunately, Simon and his family got some bad news when he was in an accident in August 2020 that had a big impact on their lives. Simon broke his back while trying an electric bike during this event. This bad thing happened, which required big surgery and a long time to heal. Simon learned a very important lesson from this event. He needed to take better care of his health, especially while he was healing. Simon was aware of his physical limits, which helped him understand that he needed to change how he worked out. Simon said that the time he spent in rehab was one of the hardest times of his life, but it also gave him a chance to rethink what was most important to him. He realized that he needed to change his bad habits in order to keep his job and spend time with his son. Because of this, he became so focused on fitness right after he got better that he hired personal trainers and stuck to a very strict exercise plan that included both cardio and strength training. Besides that, he completely changed what he ate. Simon changed his lifestyle to include only healthy foods and a plant-based diet, which helped him lose weight and gain energy. This change wasn't just about losing weight for Simon, it was also about becoming better and more active. Even though he was only a child, Eric was always there for his dad during all of these times. Simon was able to keep going with his help. Most of the time, they worked out together and explored different places together, which made their relationship stronger. Because of the recent changes in their lives, Simon also taught Eric how to eat healthily. As a family, they cooked meals together to reinforce the importance of health and fitness. If that wasn't enough, they both meditated, which helped Simon deal with stress because he could put both his emotional and physical health first. In addition to the many ways that his son has changed Simon's life, there is one more. It's clear that this is one of the biggest changes that has happened. Many people think that since Eric was born, there has been a newfound softness and calmness in the way people talk and treat groups. This has become very clear from the way he seems to be acting differently. Even though he was still known for giving harsh criticism and speaking straight on TV, well, people who work with him say that since Eric joined the group, he has been more caring and helpful, especially to contestants on his shows. He has also said that he doesn't want to be seen as the mean judge by watchers, fans, and contestants anymore. Rather, he wants to create, spread, and carry an air that makes people feel welcome and supports people with great skills and talents. Without a doubt, Simon's recent changes have been most clear in the way he talks to young talent. Simon has shown a great willingness to see their strengths and prospects instead of only focusing on their flaws and weaknesses. This sudden change has not only made the mood on his shows better, but it has also won over a wider audience, including families who like how positive he is now, when compared to his old attitude and vibe. A lot of people think that this shift in how people see Simon has also been good for his work, because it has let his fatherly side shine through. He has also grown his popularity by getting more fans from around the world who like both his professional knowledge and his friendly personality. There's no question that Simon Cowell has been a good role model for his son, Eric. He has done a good job as a father of stressing the value of family and resilience through his journey. As a result of changing how he thought about health and wellness, Simon became not only a successful TV personality, but also a devoted father who wants to live a healthier and more satisfying life with his son. For the X Factor judge and industry mogul, being a dad has changed him in ways he never thought possible. He has had to rethink his goals since becoming a father. He now cares more about his family and less about the trappings of fame and the depth of his depression. As Eric got older, Simon became more aware of how short life is and how valuable the times they shared were. When the young boy was there, it helped the experienced TV judge understand understanding in a new way. This led to a more caring way of judging on all of his shows. It's impossible to overstate how much Eric Cowell's journey changed Simon. Being able to watch his son grow has taught Simon how important love, patience, and persistence are. Eric's life and point of view changed as he grew up. Judge, who used to be sarcastic and known for making harsh comments, has become more like a father because of strong love. As time went on, he realized that Eric's turning 10 wasn't just a normal event, it was also a turning point in their relationship and in his own life. If you like this video, please click the next button and share it with your friends.